Goddess Palutena, the ruler of Angel Land, had a vivid dream of an evil force invading their beautiful world. She called the valiant warrior Pit and sent him into a program of intense training for the upcoming attack. Pit must now find the 3 treasures hidden in Angel Land. Be brave, Pit. Your long mission is just beginning. Mountains. Kid Icarus of Myths and Monsters. New game! Hi guys, I'm Brickroad. Sometimes in every Let's Player's life, you have to just play a game that basically nobody wanted or asked for in the slightest. And for me, that game is going to be Kid Icarus. It's been a long time since I've Let's Played any Game Boy game on this channel. Not for any particular reason, just because I hadn't gotten around to it, I guess. I didn't know this one existed until very recently, actually. So what I want to do at the front of the Let's Play is kind of talk about Pit as a character a little bit, because he's interesting to me. His character design is interesting in a lot of ways. So back in the NES days, and I mean the early NES days, I don't mean like the Kirby Adventure NES days. I mean back before they even put artwork on the game cartridges, back when the game cartridges just had screenshots of the games. Kid Icarus was one of those games, and it was a pretty popular NES game, by which I mean there were only 8 NES games total in the world released, so you kind of had your option. You could play Super Mario Brothers, you could play like Gumshoe, or you could play Kid Icarus, so that's what you had. I think this game even predates The Legend of Zelda, honestly. I can't be certain about that because I didn't look up the release dates, but yeah, Kid Icarus was a super popular NES game back in the day. It's not a good NES game. It was perfectly fun back in the day, I'm sure, but it doesn't age very well. It's not very fun to play on modern systems. We got 3 more pots. We're gonna get lucky? No, we're not gonna get lucky. We got the little skull sperm. The skull sperm of doom. So yeah, Kid Icarus. A game kind of strange because it's vertically oriented, which doesn't work very well for platformers sometimes, but hey, the game pioneered it and did it. It uses the same game engine, I understand, as the original Metroid. They're kind of like sister games in that sense. Do you have everything? We have a hammer, and I like hammers. I can buy 1 more hammer, and I think I will. Thank you. See ya. So I got plenty of hammers for now. But the reason that Kid Icarus's early NES popularity is relevant is because Nintendo eventually released a series of games called Super Smash Brothers, where they have all of their famous characters beating each other up. And they made a sequel to that game for the GameCube called Super Smash Brothers Melee. Not sure if you guys have heard of it. The Smash Brothers series, a little obscure. It wouldn't surprise me if you guys hadn't played it before. I do recommend them. They're perfectly fun games. They're good party games. They have lots of cool Nintendo characters in them. But anyway, for Super Smash Brothers Melee, they added in a couple of characters that were really, really obscure. Like from old NES games, most of the characters in Smash are like franchise stars, you know, like Link, Samus, Donkey Kong, them kind of characters. But for, a spa. Fine, a hot spring. Is it... Ghost Man, put your tongue back in your mouth. Is that a tongue or is that a big pointy hook nose? Either way, I shot you. But for Melee, they expanded the cast a little bit, and they said, let's throw in a couple of just obscure NES characters that nobody's going to remember. And they've used the Ice Climbers. I'm going to buy more hammers. You can never have too many hammers. Hammers are kind of important in this game. That's not a hammer. That's a hammer. But I remember at the time, 2001, when Smash Bros. Melee came out, everybody was like, Ice Climbers? Why Ice Climbers? What about Kid Icarus? Now, personally, I was like, why? Kid Icarus is a bad game. That's why Ice Climbers. Ice Climbers is a bad game, too. That's neither here nor there. But, yeah, wasn't a big fan of Pit, but there was kind of a, like a fan outcry. Like, how come Kid Icarus didn't get no love in Smash Brothers? So, a couple years later, they made another sequel to Smash Brothers called Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and in that game, they decided to include Pit because there was such an outcry for his inclusion in the previous game. And I can understand the desire to have some old obscure characters in your Smash Brothers roster. I think the game is stronger for including those styles of characters. But the problem is, because you're not picking from a group of like superstars, because you're not picking from franchises that remained popular all through Nintendo's existence, it was a little trickier picking characters people would actually care about. So they kind of made a misstep and picked... I can get in here now. Yeah! Wouldn't be able to get in without a hammer. What do we got? Nice! Arrow level up! So going with the Ice Climbers and like Mr. Game & Watch instead of Pit, maybe had been a little bit of a misstep, maybe not, because like I said, you're still pulling from this group of already obscure NES characters, who even knows, right? But for Brawl, they included Pit in the game, and here's what I think is interesting. Most of the Smash Brothers characters, by which I mean I think basically every single character in the Smash Brothers roster except for Pit, they try to get their like Smash persona as close to how they appear in the actual game as possible, which was like especially cool in the case of the Ice Climbers, because they had only appeared on an 8-bit console, so yes, I can endure the intense training. Oh, endurance! Endurance! I will endure the training. We will train for days. I'm actually not doing bad. You really can't avoid damage here. It's just, hopefully get lucky with it. Hopefully. Oh, please survive. Yeah! Yeah, baby. Alright. Training is complete. What do the special weapons do? I think I want to get this one first. But I can't use it because I don't have enough health yet. Four life blocks filled. I picked the wrong treasure, didn't I? I'm not going to have 4 life blocks for a long time. Anyway, what was kind of cool about the Ice Climbers was that their Smash incarnation was essentially a 3D model of how they appeared in the NES. Even down to the sound effects and things they used. The color palette they used was very limited. Their design was very simple, was very stark compared to, say, Mario, who had a lot of upgrades. Mario looked like Mario in Smash Bros. You could see the texture of the denim on his jeans. But the Ice Climbers were very stark and simple because they're 8-bit characters. And this is a decision that we saw in Smash Bros. 4. Smash Bros. For 3DS and Wii U with some of the 8-bit characters they included. Duck Hunt Dog, Mega Man, Little Mac. Characters that haven't been in a game, haven't been like a popular Nintendo character since the 8-bit days. That's not technically true in Mega Man's case, I guess. But they were going for the, oh, there's a hidden entrance. I gotta go back and get it. Let's go back and get the hidden entrance, guys. They were definitely going for an 8-bit aesthetic with Mega Man, and they did that by using his character design and sound effects and whatnot from the 8-bit games. They did the same thing with Little Mac, they did the same thing with the Ice Climbers, but they didn't do that with Pit in Smash Bros. Brawl, and I thought that was really weird, because, like, let me see if I can kind of bring this thought full circle here. Like, it feels like what they did with Pit is they said, okay, don't die! Thank goodness. It felt like they said, let's pretend like this character did have a bunch of games. Like, let's pretend he had sequels on every Nintendo platform. What would he look like now? God, I'm not going to be let back in this room, am I? Aww. I wasted this room. And I wasted one of my free guys. I got greedy, it looks like. But his character design in Brawl was more like, okay, what if this character had been popular on every console since the NES? What if he had a series with like 5 games in it, like Link or Samus does? What would his character design look like now in this game compared to his 8-bit persona? Let's see if we can level him up, so to speak, give him a modern look. So Pit got voice acting, he got a character design where he had this really slick-looking toga, he got weapon attacks, like where he can pull his bow apart and split it into 2 daggers. None of that kind of stuff is in the original Kid Icarus games. None of it at all. They don't use 8-bit sound effects. They use like modern sound effects for him. And it really felt like the Pit we got in Smash Brothers was a modern take on the character with which no modern take existed. And I thought that was weird, because now suddenly everybody's idea of Pit and who he is and what he looks like and how he moves and how he sounds is informed not by his own game, but by Super Smash Brothers. And then it gets weirder, because they're like, okay, well, Pit is in Smash Brothers now. We put him in Smash, and that's cool. But that means, like, he's a popular character again, and people are going to want to see him in his own game. And that's not very... That's really not that bizarre. Smash has had that effect on a lot of characters. It had that effect on Fire Emblem characters in North America. Am I going to level up again? Nice. So that is Strength 3. Beautiful. So they made a game called Kid Icarus Uprising, and I haven't played it. I played it for a little bit in a GameStop just to try it out once, and I thought the control scheme was god-awful, and I knew I wasn't going to like it. So I haven't played Kid Icarus Uprising, but... we have to... Let's see if we can get some health. We can. I got stuck on that wall. Oh, we got some health. Good. It feels like Uprising, like that's the Smash Brothers Pit. That's what he looks like. It's what he sounds like. So his actual game became informed by Smash Brothers. So our modern version of Pit doesn't even come from Kid Icarus. Life increased. Let's see if I can make it up to the sauna, up to the spa, without dying. Let me show. I have maps of the dungeons that I drew. Right, up, left. No, right, up, left, down, left, up. Alright, it's going to be tricky, but I think we can do it. I think if we're very careful, we can do it. That's not being very careful, Brickroad. That's being butts. Some of these rooms have statues, and some of the statues might have health in them, though. So yeah, that's kind of my take on Pit's character design. But a lot of people don't even know that Uprising was not the sequel to Kid Icarus. Kid Icarus had a very obscure... There was a monster in there. I am screwed. I am screw-ad, aren't I? It had a very obscure Game Boy sequel called Of Myths and Monsters, and that's the one that you guys have been watching for the past 12 minutes or so. I've got to go left and then down. And then hopefully not get killed by these monsters here. Because I gotta go up from here, don't I? None of these monsters are going to drop health. These guys are all going to drop hearts. But I need to clear them out so I have safe passage up. But these snakes are not going to... There's a little bit of health. You know what? That might just be enough. That might just be enough. Anyway, there's a variety of reasons why I'm playing this game and not the original Kid Icarus for the NES. This game is a sequel. It's got more forgiving gameplay. Not by much, just by a little bit. But it's just enough that it makes this game fun to play rather than kind of tedious and silly, which is what Kid Icarus is like. Also, this game doesn't lock you out of the best ending for playing poorly like Kid Icarus does. In this game, don't eggplant me, bro. In this game, if you don't get all of the treasures you need, you get a chance to pick them up in the last level. Now, where do I go from here? Right, down, right... Yeah, right, down, right, and down to the boss. Okay, cool. So I am playing this version because, like I said, it's a little bit more forgiving. Also, you can float. Like so. Just flap your little angel wings. There's nothing down there! That was a death floor. It still has that weird aspect of the original Kid Icarus where the gameplay is, like, the difficulty's front-loaded. The hardest parts of the game are all up front, and it gets easier as you go on, just because you increase your life bar and your strength and whatnot. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I got eggplanted. I did. Okay, I can fix this, though, because now we can fit through this little hole here, and we can go up to the nurse's station. Beautiful. Love you, baby. Thanks for the help. Of course, now we gotta go a long way around. So yeah, a little more forgiving gameplay, just enough to be fun to play rather than like intolerable, which is the original Kid Icarus. I played it quite a bit as a kid. I never owned a copy, but I did play it some as a child, and I always felt like it was really unforgiving. God damn it, really, I got eggplanted again. Herg, we'll fix it. It's gonna be okay. I might as well just eat the damage as I go through here, because we're gonna have to hit that spa again anyway, so no problem. So let's go through a couple of the ways it's a little more tolerable to play. Like Kid Icarus, the original game, only scrolls in one direction, forward. Most of the levels are vertically oriented, which means you're going up, which means if you scroll the stage up and then fall off the bottom of the screen, well, now the bottom of the screen is a death pit and you die. And the first level of the game is like that. The first 3 levels of the game are all like that. I love being an eggplant, you guys. I love it so much. Can't get enough of it. What was I talking about? Oh, and then there's the flapping the wings things. You can like you can slow down your fall by flapping your wings. And then the aforementioned, it doesn't lock you out of the worst ending by playing badly. If you don't play well enough to get all 3 of the treasures during the course of the game, you can still pick them up in the last level. So it's got that going for it as well. Unfortunately, Kid Icarus has... This is the right way I want to go, right? Yeah, down from here. I want to make sure I don't get eggplanted again and go down. Kid Icarus, the NES game, has the better soundtrack. This soundtrack is kind of dull by comparison, but that's just how it goes sometimes. I don't remember how to fight these bosses, so it's going to be a little interesting as I chase them around the map here. I think this one, if he's on any of the bottom 2 platforms, you basically just dodge in and out of his skulls, right? Bosses do have a pretty ridiculous amount of hit points in this game, so we're going to be at this for a little while. Maybe I can just tank the damage. No, that's probably not accurate at all. Well, I can't even see him up there. Oh, he's coming back down now. He's coming back down. We're fine. That's a narrow dodge. Oh, but I didn't get hit that time. I'm moving up in the world. So I think when he's off screen like that, I just want to stay in motion, maybe? Because he only gets a couple of volleys out before he goes back into his fireball and comes down. I think I took a hit there, but I couldn't hear. That's a bad place for you to be. I'll just take a couple hits right here. That's okay. Well, I better stop taking hits now. So I think I can take one more safely. But then I'm dead, yo. I shot him in the foot a minute ago, but it didn't count because the game's like, nah, why would it count? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I got him! Oh, that came down to the wire. Kids, if you're gonna cut it close. So we're going to play a little bit of Kid Icarus. We're going to play Kid Icarus for the Game Boy. I did a little research. It's actually the first Game Boy cartridge that uses the battery save function that has like a battery to save your game, which I thought was cool. Don't muck around with passwords or anything. We're going to come back and do level 2 next time. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Shoutouts to TC Paget for sponsoring this video, and to everyone who makes this channel possible by supporting me on Patreon.